boom, a whole new energy. We're going to look specifically at Venus in retrograde. That's happening right now. Ooh, no. Tell me if this is happening. This is a Get With It program. Oh my God. I had no idea. You are going to love this video. We are going to be talking all about Venus in retrograde. So I want you to watch this video in 3 different ways. The first way, were you born with Venus in retrograde? This video is for you if that's so. Also, if you just want to understand Venus in retrograde because there's not a lot of information out there on it, we're going to go deep into it. What does it mean? And what does it mean specifically in your chart? The last thing we're going to do is we're going to look specifically at Venus in retrograde. That's happening right now. So I want you to get your gorgeous natal chart. Hopefully you bought it from my shop because it's so easy to read and it is so gorgeous. And you can check the link below to my shop if you still need to get one. But I want to ask you, where do you have 28 degrees to 12 degrees of Leo in your chart? Now, listen to me. I don't do whole sign houses, but I can. If you do want a reading and you do study whole sign houses, I can happily do that for you. That's just not my preference. My preference is using the house system called Placidus. And with that, you might see that 28 degrees Leo going backwards to 12 degrees Leo might actually span 2 houses, not just 1, but 2. So I want you to listen for those 2 houses or 1 house if you have this just in 1 house in this video, because the house really matters. Where Venus is actually retrograding between 28 degrees and then it goes 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, all the way back to 12, right? That place, that sandbox, that part of your life is asking you to reevaluate it. And it's very, very important. And that is happening since July 22nd all the way until September 3rd. And on September 4th, you're in the clear and it goes forward again. Okay, you might see my little puppy down there who loves the gauze, loves the chiffon, loves the satin and silks. Of course he does. Just have to show you how big he's getting. Look at this little puppy cup. Oh my gosh, he wants to say hi. He's so cute. I just love him. He's my little Venus. Wouldn't it be so sweet if he would just let me snuggle? Venus in astrology represents our relationship to beauty, the arts, the artist within, and the art that you love, your self-worth, what you value in life, and also your money. Yes, it does. And I hope that you have watched my whole Venus playlist. And I also hope that you've watched your Venus sign video on my channel because Venus is absolutely critical to understand. And when it goes retrograde, it asks us to reflect and to redesign those very things. Now, this only happens once every 18 months. So if you're born with Venus in retrograde, it's fairly rare. I don't see this too much, but it's very powerful and it's very meaningful. So at this time, we're probably going to see big shifts in what we consider to be beautiful or important or of value. And I'm going to show you this through the houses. So when you look at your chart, I want you to see where 28 degrees Leo is and go all the way back to 12 degrees. And does it span 2 different houses? And if so, listen for that house and the description of that definition with those 2 houses. So if it spans both the 12th house and the 1st house, well, you have to listen to those 2 houses, blend them together. And that's the arena in your life that is going to be deeply affected. And ask for you to re-examine it at this time. So I'm going to talk about it collectively for just a minute. Right now, I think you're going to watch the fashion and the beauty world redefine itself a little bit and actually go back into the past. And I think it's very, very fitting that Barbie has just earned $300 million in the opening of its movie. So here we are resurrecting, right? Some sort of concept of beauty, if you will, and fashion, if you will. And it's all about women, right? Venus is the female energy in your chart. So I think that is just so quintessential that Barbie came out during Venus in retrograde and made $300 million in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Pretty powerful. Yeah. So Venus in retrograde can bring you riches, and it asks us to go revisit our past in order to see our future. So we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail, but I thought that was really exciting. So watch beauty redefine itself right now. Watch old things, old dance moves, old artistic expressions or fashion resurge again. There's a resurgence around what once was beautiful. Also, I want to mention that I have a feeling that we're going to really start to value not the future of plastics and man-made material, but the health and wellness that also comes from the past. So we might turn to more natural remedies. Watch the world embrace these natural remedies and watch the world turn to more natural medicine as well. Retrogrades, like I said, take us back in time, not forward. It's not a Uranus transit where we're inventing something new. Rather, we're appreciating something that we once cherished. We believe in taking those good things that we got, reusing them, recycling them, reevaluating them, extracting the good from what once was. And we are also probably going to discover at a very high level right now that putting plastics and fillers and silicone into our body is not healthy and no longer the beauty standard. I think we're going to see a reevaluation around that. Also focus on the sun. You have to realize that Venus does have an earth element to it because it is also ruled by Taurus. So watch designers incorporate a more earthy or natural look at this time and watch yourself do that. Watch how the world will come to value the earth and all of the vitamins and minerals that it generates for our benefit. Also, with Venus in retrograde in the sign of Leo, it embraces or rules the sunshine. So we will be redefining our relationship to the sun and to sunshine. Remember that the sun is sort of the life force energy of our existence and our world. So over these next 6 weeks with Venus and Leo in retrograde, we are literally redesigning our new relationship with our soul, with our life force energy, and with the sun or our planet and its relationship to the sun. You probably will be asking yourself, what makes the essence of my soul more beautiful, more truly valued or valuable or of value? What makes me feel more worthy or self-confident? And we will be going back to Mother Earth in some ways for these natural remedies and in discovering and finding beauty in nature. We might also be slowing down and going into more of a tranquility or a peacefulness inside of nature. Looking at your chart, tell me where you have 28 degrees Leo, because that's where it starts. Okay. It's going to start. It's going to station. So that's a very powerful degree. Do you have 28 degrees Leo in the first house? And then take it all the way back to 12 degrees. And does that land still in the first house or does that land in the 12th house? And if it lands in the 12th house, you've got to listen to this part of the video where I'm going to talk about what does it mean to have Venus and Leo in retrograde in the first house and also in the 12th house, because that part of your soul's terrain is being asked to be reevaluated. Let me just say to you, I am so grateful that you are here, and I would absolutely love it if you would like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, and I am almost there. It is my goal to get there by December 31st. But in order for me to do that, I need to get 5 more subscribers a day until December. So would you please become a subscriber? Also, I want to say, if you just missed our members only exclusive video where I looked at real charts in real time, do not worry. My next members only video. So if you're a super supporter, a superstar super supporter, it is going to be in September. So watch for that. And please come join me so you have an opportunity to learn deeper astrology, and a few people will get the opportunity for me to actually look at their chart. Woo! It's so exciting. And I absolutely love doing that for all of you. Okay, let's dive in. Let's start with Venus and Leo in retrograde in the first house. Well, this is a whole new you. This is seeing yourself in the world differently. So this is re-examining or examining, who am I in the world today and how do I want to be different? This might also be you showing up in a way that produces more self-worth, like becoming more valuable to yourself and to the world around you. And also this might be just you discovering something more beautiful or accepting your beauty. finally, like, gosh, I am okay with myself now. Maybe appreciating the more natural version of yourself. This might be a time when you want to remove toxins from your body that you no longer want inside of you. This might also be a time where you're becoming more comfortable with who you are. This is when you glean a great awareness of how the world actually perceives you or sees you or interacts with you. You might be asked to reevaluate or reexamine or redo how you say hello and how you start new projects. This might be discovering, truthfully, a whole new you and who you are in this world physically, who you physically show up as. If there's a gap between what you actually want to look like and what you actually want to be and what you are being, this is the time to sort of self-correct that. This is also learning how to lead with a whole new kind of loving approach to the world, because this is Venus leading. This is also a time when people might really come to value you in a new way. You could glean some popularity. Venus in the first house usually makes you a little bit more charming, a little bit more beautiful, a little bit more generous, a little bit more lovely, a little bit more popular. But because it's in retrograde, it stays kind of humble. So tell me how this is showing up for you. I'll tell you, for me, this placement is actually happening for me, and it's only happening in the first house. And just a private little note to express to you all what this could look like. It's something very subtle that turned out to be quite profound. So I went in and did a very, very, very deep trance about the meaning of my life. And it was deeply, deeply personal. Well, in this trance, in this deep meditation, I saw the lineage of my life over lifetimes. And I saw the meaning and the purpose of who I am in this world and how I am supposed to approach life on a very deep and personal way. Now, this might sound like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to you, but I am telling you, it redefined the whole entire essence of myself. It also really helped me in this trance. I saw myself as a very old woman, wrinkled, elderly, and not in my attractive self. And I had a lot of love for my older self. It's like I can embrace the aging process with a little bit more confidence. I also got to see that my self-worth did not come from what I physically looked like. The first house is the physical body, but it came from such a deeper place. And so it gave me a lot of self-esteem and self-confidence around the work that I'm doing. And that made me want to share myself even more so. So it was a pretty cataclysmic shift. And this happened right when Venus went into retrograde. So work with your Venus in retrograde and go into meditation or trance or get a reading at this time so you can also learn those deeper truths. And this was very, very profound. I was moved to tears for about 7 hours. I literally was choked up and cried because I was so profoundly moved at getting these images and this vision of who I am and who I thought myself to be and who I really am. And the gaps between those three things were pretty significant. So I'm excited to really step into a new kind of me, a new kind of power. So if you have this in the first house, this could be just a very subtle thing that creates a massive shift inside of your own life. Okay, let's talk about the second house. The second house is the house of money, but this is not just money. It is also the house of beauty and nature and food. So this could be you reevaluating, or kind of like what I just said about the first house, where I saw myself in a certain way, but spirit showed me who I can become. And there's a gap, what I saw myself as and how other people saw me, and then what power lives inside of me to create even more change. This could be happening with your money, the money that you're actually earning, the money that you're truly worth, and the money that somebody is actually giving you or paying you to do the work that you're doing, right? And you might need to reassess and reevaluate the gap between those three things. And your money could actually grow at this time. Just like my self-confidence grew in that trance, your money can grow. Just like Barbie right? Barbie made $300 million over 3 days' time in the movie theater. And now I see Barbie everywhere. Little girls dressed up, moms dressed up in the grocery store. I see birthday cakes at Cold Stone Ice Cream. The Barbie cake. Yeah, she's going to make billions of dollars after this resurgence. So your money can actually grow because you can reevaluate how you're getting paid, how much you're getting paid, and your actual worth, and go in and create multiple streams of income, or ask for a raise, or get a new job if it's not measuring up. This can also have an effect on food. So are you having a new relationship to food? Are you changing your diet? Do you need to change your diet? Do you need to change what you're drinking? Do you need to change what you're eating? Yeah. And movement can come from that too. If you're going to, eat certain foods, do you need to add movement to your diet? What changes are you making around earning your money, spending your money, and also your diet? Also, this can be quite simply changing up what you want to wear and what your style is like, or how you want to decorate your ambiance around you. This is also, think about gift giving. This aspect with Venus transiting your second house can really create financial generosity for yourself. What do you want to buy yourself? What do you want to invest in? Do you want to make an investment, and how you give gifts? Let me tell you this quick story. I had a financial planner a long time ago in 2003. I had come into just a little bit of money, not a lot. I wasn't rich or anything, by no means, but I had come into a little bit of money for the first time in my life through earning it, through astrology. I wanted to throw myself and all of my friends a party where I paid for it all. And I was going to take everybody to Teatro Zinzani. So it's like Cirque du Soleil. And my financial planner said it was going to cost me like $3,000 or something. And my financial planner sat down with me and said, Meredith, you are just as lovable whether you buy the tickets or whether you don't buy the tickets. You don't have to buy the tickets and the drinks and the dinner. You don't have to do all that. You are just as lovable with or without picking up the tab for everyone. And I was like, but am I really? And he said, yes, you are really. And I highly recommend you do not pick up the tab for this. Save your money, invest your $3,000 in something else. Well, you know what I did? I went and rented the private ballroom at my boyfriend's apartment complex. And I invited 30 people over, and I bought the drinks and the dinner and the show and the evening and the pre-party and the post-party. I did. I didn't listen to him. And years later, that was 2003. Years later, I wish I had. And I don't know, I know the date that we went. I wish I would have listened. And I wonder if I had Venus in retrograde transiting the second, because I really didn't need to do all that. And it would have been just as much fun if everybody paid for their own ticket. But I did, and we had a blast, and it was a great time, and I get to forever remember it. So are you being too generous? Are you in a place where you should pull back just a little bit? Because this is a really good time to reevaluate that part of your life. So if you have Venus in retrograde in your natal chart, listen to the house in which it sits in, because you will have these lessons for your whole life long. These will be your questions that you'll be working out. And when you get a transit to your Venus, your natal Venus in retrograde, whatever sign it is in, these issues will light up for you. So tell me if you have Venus in retrograde natally, and also where this lands for you by transit. And if you are a superstar, super supporter, or super supporter, I do prioritize answering your comments. And so I want to say thank you. Sometimes I'm not timely, so ring the little bell so when I do answer, you can see that I do. Sometimes it takes me a couple weeks to get back to you, but I do try my hardest. And I can't do every single one, but I do prioritize, and I do work my little tail off for you. And I try to do the very best that I can. So thanks for your love and patience and your support. I'm so grateful for my super supporters, and I like answering your questions. So the third house, right now you might be reevaluating what you're studying, what you're learning, and you might want to switch it up or change it out. You might have a new curiosity or appreciation or an involvement with the arts, your art, your own craft, your communication, the way that you talk, the way that you absorb information, the way that you learn, your writing, your singing, your painting, your dancing, your grace, your beauty, your love life, your neighbors, that could all be reevaluated. Why? Because Venus is your love life. It's what you love. The third house is the house of the mental process, how you communicate and how you talk. And Venus is also the arts. So also this is the student access. So this is you learning. This also represents your website, your neighbors, and communication. Are you wanting to revamp your website? Do you need a better website? Are you wanting to redo the artful parts of your life? Are you wanting to learn something? Are you wanting to be a better neighbor? Do you feel like you isolate and you haven't really extended yourself to neighbors? Or are you feeling like you want to sort of step away from your neighbors and retreat? So maybe you want to isolate, or maybe you want to create the block party. Maybe you want to create friendships with your neighbors. Maybe also you might want to change up your music list right now, or just the music that you're creating in your life. Maybe you are Taylor Swift and you are going from country folk to pop, right? So this can be a giant change in the expression of your communication. And maybe you want to start saying Venus things like, I love you, in a new way. Maybe you want to leave notes on the bathroom sink or in the lunchbox. Or maybe you've only said, I love you through acts of service and you want to start saying it verbally. Okay, let's talk about the fourth house. There may be a reevaluation around your home, your family, your roots, your heritage, your parents. Have you taken a 23andMe test? And if you have, was it surprising or not? Right? And do you want to dig a little bit more into your ancestry? Where did you come from? Who am I? And you could also do this through trance and through meditation, because that was one of my questions. I wanted to know where I came from. Who am I in the world today? That's very Aries. And what impression am I supposed to make in the world today? The only way I could understand my impact today is to know where I came from. And that's this fourth house. I also want to say you might be changing up the definition of home. So I used to be nomadic. And then, I traveled around the world twice, all around the world, by myself 2 times as a single 20-year-old female. And I lived in Cambodia for an entire summer, and I taught English as a second language through the United Nations, and it was exhilarating. But let me tell you, my home was my backpack. And then I realized after so much travel that I really missed carpet under my feet, like real carpet, wall-to-wall carpet. I only traveled on like concrete, marble, stone, wood floors with just little rugs, right? There was never any carpet that you could just lay down and watch TV on. So I really missed the carpet under my feet. I missed the books in my bookshelf. I missed the flowers in my garden. I missed my cats. So what is home to you? And this might be a shift in home, like homesickness. I want my home. I want a home. I don't want to rent. I want a house, right? Or I want my own home to look differently. Maybe you want to buy a tiny home. Maybe you want to sell off your big home. Maybe it's time to downsize. Maybe it's time to upgrade, right? So this could be a very natural shift. When that happened to me, it was a very natural longing. Nothing forced. So home, I believe, is where the heart is, and Venus may be calling you into a new home or redoing your home. It could also be a desire for developing a deeper love within your family, your parents or your children or your spouse or your partner or your siblings, whoever you live with in your house, even your animals, those things that you nurture. This could even be your garden, your plants, your flowers. I know my flowers are my babies, right? This is usually a deep placement and a profound placement. When Venus transits here, there's a deep and profound reflection about yourself and your life within your home, within your heritage, within your sect, your tribe, your community, and not the 11th house, but when I say community, like the community in which you were raised in. Maybe you were raised through the foster system and had foster families. Maybe you were adopted. This is a time to get those answers, right? The answers to your questions, to know where you truly came from. And this is a time where you will probably want to understand the true meaning of what a loving home is, and you will want to shore up that gap. So if you don't have a very loving home, let's say your home is too cluttered, this would be a great time to get rid of the clutter and just infuse it with love. It can literally be your home, but like when I was a backpacker, it can be the home within here too, right? Okay, one quick thing that I want to say is if you want to learn deep, deep astrology, just raw, real astrology and truly be transformed by it, come learn with me in person. And I am having a 4-day workshop in Barcelona in October, and you can check the notes section below. And you guys, I have a link tree on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram and you'll go to my link tree. And I have 20 different links to absolutely everything I do. My Amazon store, where I tell you the very best astrology tools to buy, my Barcelona retreat. But this is going to happen in October. So get your tickets soon. I only have 10 tickets left and it is going to be amazing. You will learn more astrology in 3 days with me. The fourth day is a meet and greet. Then you can learn on YouTube or on any of these videos, because it truly will transform you at the deepest soul level imaginable. And it is heart expanding and mind blowing. So check out all the details below and come learn with me. It is so worth it. It truly is priceless. Let's talk about the fifth house. Okay, this is such a big house. So you might have an old love come back into your life to reevaluate your relationship. But you also are being asked to reevaluate the play in your life. Are you playing enough? And what is your relationship to playing? What is your relationship to fun? And are you embracing joy and happiness and glee and the wee in life? Are you jumping on a trampoline? Are you playing hopscotch? What are you doing to create the wee in your life? Anything? Also, I want you to reevaluate right now your relationship to creativity, your creative expression. What creative thing are you doing? And if you tell me nothing right now, it's time to figure out what you want to do, what you have put on the back burner. Is it cooking? Is it gardening? It's something Venus-like. Is it dancing? Is it becoming a creator? Is it working with, I don't know, essential oils, making something, jewelry, candles, sewing your own clothes, designing, whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is as long as it fills up your soul. This can sometimes be a little tiny bit melancholy. Wherever you have Venus in retrograde, it's so poignant. Even in the first house, it was massively moving and poignant. I had no idea that I was going to get the answers that I got in my trance meditation. Right now, you are being asked to reevaluate what a truly good time really means. I mean, in my younger years, a truly good time meant something totally different than what a truly good time means in my wiser years, right? And so what I thought was fun back then, and it was fun, would not necessarily be as fun today. So you're being asked to reevaluate the concept of a good time, the concept of fun, and the concept of joy and happiness. This is a time for you to create more fun and joy. Or if you have too much of that and you need to get serious, this is the time to reevaluate that childlike play and joy in your life. So I kind of want to know, do you have too much of it or too little of it? I kind of want to challenge you to go out and take a risk and karaoke or paint, sculpt something, pursue some creative thing that you've never done before and see what it makes you feel. I also want to say that this is the house of children. So reevaluating your children, maybe to have them or to not have them. Do you want them or do you not want them? This is also, how do you interact with them? Do you need to make changes to your approach to your own child? As an extroverted mom raising a more introverted child, I had to really come to understand that I needed to parent my child with a new approach to get better results, right? So my energy just didn't constantly eclipse my more shy child. So my shy child could break out of her shell and come forward with her own radiance and her own light. And now we kind of argue in a friendly way. Is she really more introverted or is she extroverted now? Well, the first 14 years of her life, definitely more introverted, but now not so much. And I think that's because I changed my approach in my interaction with her. So I could excavate and extract more of her energy rather than imposing mine, right? And by the way, this is what I want to tell you. That child's report that I have, you could get the child's package if you need the gorgeous natal chart. That child's report is so damn good in my shop. It is phenomenal. And it will show you your life through your own childhood. Even if you're 60 years old, you should go get this report. I also recommend every single parent out there needs to get their child's report because, I don't know, it saved my bacon with my child. And it really allowed me to understand compassionately why her Scorpio moon, need I say anything else? Why her Scorpio moon was behaving as it was, right? Ay, what the hell? I was afraid of watching Scooby-Doo as a kid. I don't even like it as an adult. She loved Scooby-Doo. I didn't want her to watch Scooby-Doo, the guy with the green-eyed evil guy and the evil. And I'm like, why does she want to watch that? Why doesn't she want to watch the Care Bears? Like me, Scorpio moon, right? Yeah, she had to see the underbelly of life. And so that report helps you parent your child in their own essence. And if you've got Venus in retrograde in the 5th house, you're being asked to interact with your own inner child and your child, if you have one, differently. It's almost baseball season. Woohoo! It's so sunny and beautiful here in Seattle. Oh, by the way, I want to tell you guys something. If you cannot come to Barcelona in October, get ready, start saving your money for next May. And I only have 45 spots available for my Seattle workshop, but I'm going to have my second annual Seattle workshop the third weekend in May. That's before Mother's Day. That's right after Mother's Day and before Memorial Day here in the United States. But that's the third weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in May 2024. So start saving up your money. I am going to put those tickets, they're first come, first serve, on sale at the end of October. So if you can't make it to Barcelona, think about Seattle waterfront. Woo! And come see a fabulous baseball game in the sunshine here. Okay, let's talk about the 6th house. The 6th house is very interesting. I love the 6th house, and I think I love it because everybody misunderstands it. So this is right now during this 6 weeks time, you need to reevaluate your commitment to your health, your workouts, your wellness, your fitness. You need to just sort of be a little bit health focused right now, because this is a time when old things can come back, right? So like I suffer terribly, terribly from skin cancer. I probably get 5 skin cancers that have to be surgically removed or Mohs removed a year for the last 15 years. That's how bad my skin. But I grew up in the swimming pool in Phoenix, Arizona. And I grew up in the pool every single day with baby oil and a tinfoil raft. So I don't have this placement, but this would be like reoccurring skin cancer, reoccurring inflammation, reoccurring high insulin levels, reoccurring migraine, right? So it might not be death defying, but it could be kind of a setback or a want. So I do want you to think about your commitment to preventative care and deal with your mental and your physical and even your spiritual health and wellness right now. Do whatever it is you need to do on your day-to-day routine to take care of your skin, your body, your muscles, your vitamins, your digestion, your inflammation, all of that. Take your vitamins. This could be really good for you to do some music healing right now, some healing to music meditation at night or in the morning, or while you're riding your bike or while you're on your walk with your dog. Like really listen to high vibrational music. Your daily work, your daily line of work, your daily duties might be asking you right now to change it up. So you are not here, my sweet friend, to be a slave or a servant in this lifetime. So if you feel like you are being sort of used or abused or not appreciated in your daily jobs, whether you're a stay-at-home person or a go-to-work person, whether that's your family not appreciating you or your children not appreciating you, making their cheese sandwiches and, getting them ready for camp, or if your colleagues aren't, this is a time to reevaluate that, reassess that, and change it. So either pull your investment back a little bit or reinvest. So if your colleagues at work are standoffish and aloof, well, do you want to separate a little bit more so you don't get hurt by that and just sort of be a maverick and go at it alone? Or do you want to make a little bit of an investment with the community at work and create happy hours or create lunch or create more connectivity? So there's more joy and there's more fulfillment and there's more reward. Now, this also might be a time where you might even think of a new line of work that would be something Venus related, something a little more creative, a little bit more artsy, a little bit more focused on beauty and wellness. You are born to like what you fill your days up with, right? Ditch your relationship also to perfectionism. Yeah. What does your relationship, and put this in the comments, what does your relationship to perfectionism look like? And if you have Venus in retrograde natally in the sixth house, oh my God, what does your relationship to perfect? Are you chasing it? Are you disappointed all the time? Are you better than perfect? Are you less than perfect? How do you feel about perfectionism? What lessons have you learned? And I also want to know, how old are you? I want to know what lessons you have learned if you're having this in the sixth house by transit or natally or by progression. And what lessons have you learned about perfectionism? You could fall in love or have a crush with someone who you work with, and or your handyman or your gardener or your or your house cleaner, or I don't know what, but somebody who sort of works for you or with you. They could have a crush on you or you could have a crush on them. And I don't really recommend that, right? That's like falling in love with your next door neighbor. That's always a mess. Beware. And I also have to tell you, this is not a great time to fall in love in general when Venus is in retrograde. Just wait to fall in love until September 4th. Okay, people, just put it on neutral. And I don't recommend that you go on a first date. If you already know somebody, that's fine. But I don't recommend first dates if you really want to give it a shot. If you're getting married, that's a little bit different because you've already known this person for a long enough time to become engaged. But I don't necessarily recommend meeting somebody brand new or consummating the relationship for the first time inside Venus in retrograde. And let's also talk about the sixth house being the animal house, the small animal house. The small animal house is the house of animals that are smaller than a horse. So is it time to get a new animal? A new animal could actually find you. A lost animal might need to be rescued. Venus in retrograde. It might be abandoned. It might need a new foster family. Do you want to do that? How do you feel about that? It also might be a time to take care of your animal's health and wellness. So do you need to change up their food? Do you need to brush their teeth more often? And this is not a time to be lazy or indulgent with your animals or your animal's food or your animal's care or your own care. I'll tell you, I have seen with this that Venus in retrograde sometimes can create a sweet tooth or even a laziness. Be mindful of that so you don't choose that path. Okay, let's talk about the seventh house. If you have this natally, by progression, or by transit, and then it doesn't retrograde again until 18 months from now. In the seventh house, your relationships are going to go under the microscope, under scrutiny, and you're going to evaluate probably everybody you're involved with, all your partnerships, the platonic ones, business ones, and romantic ones. You're probably going to evaluate or re-examine or examine is how much are you putting in and how much are you getting out? And is it even? Does it feel fair? Does it feel good enough? Does it feel balanced? Are they speaking your language of love? And are you speaking theirs? And does it feel like a mutual give and take, a mutual attraction? Let me just tell you that you might even feel a little bit dissatisfied. You might feel like you need to change it up or do something different. You might feel like you need to either remove your investment a little bit or make a larger investment. You could even feel like you're losing your interest in your partnership a little bit. You might also be asking yourself, like, do I want to level up with this person? Do I want to take this to the next level? Do I want to marry this person? Do I really want to build a life with this person? So this is a time when you can also be very wishy-washy and not know. So if you don't know how you feel about this person or you feel confused, that's actually perfect. Also, I want to say that litigation can come up right now where you might be asked to go to court. You might have to reevaluate your parenting plan or your court documents. You might have to reevaluate your will right now, or it is a good time to take a look at those legal documents that you put into play a long time ago and re-examine them and redo them, because you might have your estate or your money going to places that you don't even value anymore. So also you might need to address those issues at this time, or those issues will be addressed at this time, and you might just be on the receiving end of that. On a smaller scale, this might be a time when you really want to, where you've outgrown the person who is your esthetician or your stylist or the person who does your hair or your nails or your lashes. So the beautification process that you take on, you might want to change it up. Look at my nails. Is this perfect Venus in retrograde? I have none. And I usually have really fancy nails. And I'm like, I'm taking a break. I didn't do that because of Venus in retrograde. I just did that, and it is Venus in retrograde. But isn't it funny how it works? I mean, right? You guys have never seen my nails like this, or maybe a long time ago. Anyways, it's a time when you sort of take a break or change it up or change it out around beauty. Remember, the seventh house is also the house of beauty and the arts. This could be when you drop your subscription to the symphony, or you drop your subscription to your concert tickets, or when you no longer, want to go or spend your money on the arts, or when you're like, we really should have date night and do, we should do the subscription at the local theater. It's a time when you really will change your relationship to the arts. I'll tell you, the biggest shift here could be at this time, you're really going to evaluate the give and take inside your relationships. And if you are an overgiver, it's asking you to quit that. Do not be an enabler, and do not do the relationship for yourself and then for the other person. I want to suggest to you guys to get my soul's design report, because in this report, it goes deep into the rulers of each house. Let's say you don't have Leo transiting the seventh house, but let's say you have Libra in the seventh house. Well, you are a Venus seventh house person, and Venus is ruling that seventh house. Venus also rules your second house. And I want you to understand the complexity of astrology. And that's why I want you to come learn with me in person, because the complexity, every single person I do a reading for ends up walking away going, oh my God, I had no idea it had this many layers. And that's why I say we don't do sun sign astrology here. Not at Soul Navigation. No. I just did a 2-hour reading for somebody yesterday. We barely talked about his sun sign. Barely. I said 2 sentences. Didn't need to. Wasn't the most important thing in his chart. Why? Because it is so complex. So in that Soul's Design Report, you'll see the rulership of each one of your houses. And your rulers are different than my rulers, right? No 2 sun signs are the same. Venus retrograde in the 8th. This can bring old, intimate, sexual partners back into your life. Now, it doesn't always mean sexual, but it means intimate. This doesn't also mean really that it's necessarily good for you, but it just could be there as an option for you to reevaluate, and maybe for you to even reevaluate your own soul's evolutionary growth. This could also be somebody who promises to make an investment in you, and then that investment is kind of slow or held back or even retracted. And I want you to be careful, because with this placement, you can be manipulated. You could be manipulated to go back down that rabbit hole that you've already been down and you already know where it goes to. And it could have a new, fresh face and look different when it's really not. And you could also be tricked into investing in someone financially or emotionally, investing in someone, or somebody financially or emotionally investing in you, and then it not really happening. So test it. And I would say wait until September 4th. With this place, you could get hooked back into things that are not necessarily good for you, but they're just sort of taking the exam all over again to see if you will pass the test. So be careful with this placement. It could look like you are going to financially benefit from somebody or something, or receive a gift or an inheritance or a chunk of change, but then you find that it's very slow to get to you, or it doesn't get to you at all. So it can be kind of disappointing. And I do want to tell you, this is a time when you could get audited. Your finances could get audited, or your taxes. So pay your bills. This is also a time when you could need to maybe file for bankruptcy, or even pay your old debts. So you might want to pay off your car loan, or pay off your credit card, or figure out how you can get out of debt. I highly recommend it. If you're capable of paying off your debts and you've got Venus in retrograde in the 8th, do it. You may also dig deep, deep, deep into your internal wounds and look to see what it is you need to do, probably around forgiveness, around healing those old wounds, wounds that are very private, wounds that other people don't necessarily know. You might also have secrets around love, and they might be your own secrets, or they might be a friend's secret. You might be asked to help somebody, be a cover for them in a love affair, or help facilitate a secret for them, like be an alibi for me, maybe help me get an abortion, and don't tell anybody. So being asked to be an alibi or a secret keeper in some way. This also might be a time when you want to tattoo yourself, to brand yourself in some way. I do want to tell you that this can be a very, very, very healing and transformative time. It is very profound. And you can also feel a little bit lonely with love right now. That's okay. Just know September 4th is around the corner. The way it looks right now is not permanent. It's just a part of the journey. Right now, I would also say don't take out a loan or make a loan to somebody else right now, because one, it will be very hard to get the loan. And two, you might not get your money back. Okay, the 9th house. Let's talk about this. This house, if you have Venus retrograding here, is asking, what do you believe in? And does your deeper truth match how you're walking through your life? So if you're preaching, hey, if you find $1 million in a wallet in the middle of the street, figure out how to return it to whoever it belongs to. And that's what you preach. Well, are you living that too? So then when you really do find the $1 million in the wallet, do you really go and return it? That's a belief system, and preaching a belief system. And then is there a gap in what you're actually doing? So this is a time to look at the hypocrisy in your own life. That is very painful to do, by the way, because you cannot have an ego and also confess that you are a hypocrite. We all carry some hypocrisy inside of ourselves. So this is a time when you really are looking for your belief system not being in play. I also want to say this might be a time, and it could be a really beautiful time, when you want to go back to places that you have once been to before through your travels. So if you fell in love with Mykonos, Greece, and you might have this longing to go back to Mykonos, Greece, right? You might find that there is this pull or this draw to certain cultures or to old music, old food, old places that you once found a magic in. And you might want to pilgrimage back to those places that you once fell in love with, or where you once found yourself, or you found your love, or you just found the tranquility. Have you guys done astrocartography? That is one thing we could do together. I could look at your astrocartography and tell you, are you living on your Venus line? Are you living on your Pluto line? Are you living on your Jupiter line? Well, this is sort of an aspect. If you have Venus in retrograde here, you in your 9th house, you might want to look into astrocartography. It resonates with this 9th house, and it teaches you the global landscape and how your soul resonates on the world's map. And it is so exciting. And if you want to book an astrocartography reading with me, you can do that. It is really exciting, and I love doing that for you. I'll also tell you that this is a time when you might want to step away from your religion. This might be a time when you want to get out of conventional religion or anything that you feel boxed in or defined by. So you might want to reevaluate. You might want to leave. You might want to reexamine. You might want to change up or just study a new religion. If you've studied Judaism your whole life, this might be a time when your curiosity wants to understand, what does it mean to be Buddhist or Muslim or a Jehovah's Witness? Like, what do they believe in? I'm curious. Who is God? What is God? And you could be asking really big questions. The 12th house brings this in too, which we'll get to in a minute, but the 9th house can really have you starting to try on different theologies. And so asking yourself, do these spiritual or religious rules that I've been following my whole life really, really fit with me? I also want to tell you that this could be inviting you to take a little tiny break from school, or you're enjoying a break from school. This is a time to think about, how do I want to grow my higher self, my better self, my bigger self, and maybe putting a new plan into place so you actually, in fact, do just that. You should ask yourself, is your behavior, is your philosophy, is your personal religion, is your personal belief system actually growing the very best version of yourself that is possible? This is also the house that runs and rules optimism and joy, happiness, abundance, your best self. I kind of see this as the motivational speaker in your chart. So when Venus is here, it's like, how can you be kinder to yourself? How can you create more abundance, more joy, how can you exaggerate your terrain? Are you playing too small in your life? Because right now, Venus in retrograde is saying, let's set up a plan to launch on September 4th for you to go balls out, bust out, and be the fire-breathing dragon that you were born to be. And light up your life, right? This is a time when you could meet foreigners. And this is also a time when you could be misunderstood by foreigners. That's interesting, right? Let's talk about the 10th house. So right now, with Venus in retrograde, you are really focused on how you are perceived out there in the world through your work, through your platform, through your career, through society, through your own fame, through building and growing your legacy. So how are you received and how do you want to change your image in society and in your work and in your calling and in your career? This is where you may want to reevaluate your calling. You may want more money. You may want something you may want to do something that you love more than what you're doing. You may want to get more creative or build a job that has something to do with beauty, love, health, wellness, money, self-esteem. So if you're stocking the shelves, you're stocking the milk shelves at the grocery store, that might not feel fulfilling. Maybe it is fulfilling. That might be fulfilling. I had a young man who did that and put himself through college, and he loved it because it was at night. He got to listen to his own music, and he absolutely found it so fulfilling for where he was at in life. But now he's like a physicist, and that would not be fulfilling, right? So this might be a time for you to really change up your job. So your job is worth you and you're worth your job. And you might feel at this time that your job, your career is sort of limiting you financially and not fulfilling your heart and soul, right? This is a get with it program. So change things up September 4th. I don't necessarily recommend you going for a brand new job in Venus in retrograde, but put the plan together, study it, evaluate it, see what you want to do. I also want to say that you may be reevaluating your relationship to the authority in your life. Who's the boss of you, by the way? Who is the boss of you? And if it's yourself, reevaluate. Are you a friendly boss? Are you a kind boss? Are you a lazy boss? Are you a good boss? What kind of boss are you to yourself? But oftentimes this can be your relationship to your father. And if you didn't have a father, then it is whoever was the boss of you. You might want to reestablish your relationship around who the boss of you is in your life and your interaction and how you work with that person. So for example, with my daughter, she's only child, only parent. So there is no father figure. I am the mother, father. She calls me mom, dad. And what's very interesting is this Venus in retrograde is crossing over 3 primary planets in her 10th house, right? So I sit both in her 4th house and 10th house. So if you are a single parent, single mom, or a single father, okay, so your child has no mother, your child has no father, then you operate both the 4th and the 10th house. So what I want to say is it's very interesting because after her 17th birthday, I can see that she really is emerging into a highly productive, deep thinking, thoughtful young woman. And I told her last night when we went to the movies, I just told her, like, I am not worried about you. I'm not worried about you like I was worried about you at 12 through 15. I mean, I was just worried sick about her. And now I'm really not worried. I don't feel like I need to be up at night and, pacing the floors. Like I just have a sense of trust. Why? Because she is becoming Venus in retrograde in the 10th house. Oh my God, I could cry almost saying this. She's becoming her own authority. I don't hold her morals for her. I don't hold her value for her as much any longer, probably a little bit, but not nearly as much. She's holding 90% of it. She wants to go to work on time. She wants to go to school on time. She doesn't want to get drunk at the Taylor Swift concert. She doesn't want to do that. She said she wanted to be able to drive home and remember it. I thought that was beautiful. So what I'm saying is that when Venus is in retrograde in the 10th house, you are changing your relationship to the person who is the boss of you. So in a way, she's saying, Mom, you don't have to be the boss of me so much anymore. I've got me. I've got this. I'm doing this well. You don't have to worry. It's subtle. There's no conversation about it. It's just an energy shift. It's just happening. Do you guys like it when I share my personal stories with you? Sometimes I don't know if it's obnoxious or not. And I usually save it for just my members, but I thought I would put that out there. It's no small thing because you might be becoming your own person and you might be individuating away from your parents a little bit. It's very interesting. You might be flying the nest, right? You might be evaluating how you work with conventional mainstream business. You might want the security that comes from that, but you also might not want that. And you might want a more creative job. What lives authentically inside of you? And do you want the security and the insurance and all of that comes from mainstream work? Or do you want to freelance and step into the Leo creativity and make it up as you go and do your work on your own terms? So there might be a shift right here. My husband also has this placement, and this is his exact question. Which train track do I want to go down? Which one is better for me? You also might be very attracted to people or a partner in high society or a high position or in an authoritative position. You might realize right now that you deserve a person who can help you reach the next level. You might be reevaluating what status and power actually means in your life. Does it mean money? Does it mean guns and ammo? Does it mean muscles or no? Does it mean intellect, right? Is knowledge your power, or is muscles and might your power? Is guns your power, or is fast cars your power? Or is your authority, you being the CEO, your power? Or you checking out, is that your power? Right? So you're reevaluating your power within society with this position. And you might want more power or less. Okay, we are almost done, and I am so excited. And if you want to learn astrology with me, I do have 2 master classes that I sell. You can just click in the notes below if you want to go learn how to read a natal chart if you feel overwhelmed. And I also have a really good synastry, compatibility, soulmates, how to find the soulmate in your chart masterclass that you can purchase too. It's not very much money, and you'll learn a ton. If you love learning astrology, stay on this journey with me because I will teach you so much. So let's talk about the 11th house. You may be reevaluating your friendship circle. You may feel isolated or like you don't really fit in, or you're not as loved as you thought you were, or you might even feel a little bit betrayed by your friendship circle. You might feel like you want to withdraw or cocoon, or you might not be feeling very social. You may feel like your friends are no longer on the same wavelength. You guys used to do that all the time, and now nobody wants to. Why don't they want to play with me, right? You may feel like your friendship circle is shifting, changing, and altering, and you may feel like they don't love you the way you love them, or you don't love them any longer the way you used to love them. You may feel like you want to break up with your friends, and you may also find that you actually are in love with a friend. Ooh, no. You may feel like you want to have benefits with your friend, right? And you may feel also like you're not perfectly in alignment with your dreams, your hopes, and your wishes, or your dreams have shifted a little bit, or will shift, or are shifting. What you once dreamed of, you no longer are dreaming of. Tell me if this is happening. This placement can bring melancholy because when Venus is direct in this house, which it's going to go direct, it can bring in so much greatness. And when it's in retrograde, it gets a little bit melancholy. This is a hard placement, I think, for Venus in retrograde, especially in Leo, because it's Aquarius's house. So don't be gullible and also buy into somebody else's dreams that they are trying to sell you on. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you need to do it. You may want to spend your time on doing things differently right now, joining a new club and leaving an old club behind. You might switch out, your muscled out Gold's Gym for hot yoga. You might feel like, hey, I used to be a runner. Now I want to do bicycling. I used to do CrossFit. Now I want to do Orange Theory, whatever. You might be shifting out your club. You might be shifting out your social cause too. You might also join some sort of foster program or guardian ad litem. That's where you are like child protective services, helping with stray cats. Did you guys see? Oh my God. Have you guys seen that it's like on TLC or something? It's on television where this cat guy goes out and like saves all these feral cats. Oh my God. It is just heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, heart-singing. It's just incredible. So like, what social cause do you want to be a part of and align with that aligns with your new preferences? It's kind of like reevaluating how you want to pay it forward in the world. Okay, the 12th house, let's talk about it. This house is so big. The terrain is infinite. It's like God's land, the universe, the cosmos, galaxy. And this is a new relationship to the cosmic world. It's pretty damn big. This is literally the mushroom trip. This is going into the matrix of it all. And this is seeing yourself in a new way in the cosmic galaxy. This is no small thing. This is an awakening that probably can't even put English words or any words into play, into understanding it. This could be you making money through a new creative spiritual practice. This could be you going within and truly tapping into that divine, infinite, unconditional love. This is a time when you can develop a deep new self-love, awareness, and appreciation. This can be a time where music is euphoric in a way that it never has been before. This could be a time where you cannot go a day without music and you don't understand why. A whole new relationship to the sounds of nature or the sounds of music. This could be you learning how to drum, play the flute, wind chimes in your garden. I mean, the waterfall. What is happening to you? I want to know. That was a little loud, but I want to know what is happening to you with sound and with music. This is literally verbatim the sound bath. This is also a time when you could hold secrets or secrets could be revealed about money, love affairs, other women. Are you asked to hide something? Are you being asked to hide a love affair? Are you being asked to hide your own love affair? Are you hiding your love affair? Are you hiding another woman? Are you hiding your money, right? That could be this too. You don't have to tell. Don't tell. Keep your secrets. You might feel also like isolating. Be careful not to overdo it with feel goods because they can lead to self-sabotage. Sex, drugs, alcohol, food, anything Venus, anything that makes you feel good, be careful not to sabotage. It could just be don't sabotage by sleeping your life away for the next 3 months and being late to work, right? And not showing up for your responsibilities. I also want to tell you right now with Venus in retrograde in the 12th to be careful with poisoned water. Now, what is poisoned water? It's contaminated water. So don't drink lake water. If you're going into the lake, don't drink it. I want you to, if you're going out, you need to cover up your drink, right? Just bring your own water bottle and take it to the bathroom. Yes. Don't leave your water bottle on the dance floor and go to the bathroom and you think it's safe because it has a lid on it. No. My dear friend, her daughter went to a party with a water bottle. She went to the bathroom. She didn't take it with her and she got roofied and her life almost ended. And she thought she was safe because she put a lid on her drink, but she just didn't take it everywhere she went. So poisoned water is a real thing right now. Drugs in this placement are a real thing. Not even your drugs. Do not take a street drug. Do not take a drug from a friend right now. Make sure you know what's in it because this is a house where you can have contaminated poisons and water. And this is also a time where your soul is asking for peace, privacy, seclusion, where your soul is asking for you to recharge your batteries, right? So you do need a lot of self-care and a lot of self-love right now. Now, I want to give you a bonus tip. If you have Venus in retrograde natally, it is very important that you look and you understand your Venus progressed. So your Venus by progression is going to travel over the years. And it could, not always, but it could come into, I should say, it could come out of retrograde and into direct motion through your progression. So you don't necessarily have to live with Venus in retrograde your whole life because it could end up going direct inside your progressed chart. And if you do have Venus in retrograde natally, I highly, highly recommend that you personally get a reading from a professional astrologer, myself, or anybody on my soul navigation team, and take a look at your progression so we can see the time in your life, if ever, that Venus will actually go direct. And I think you will feel, boom, a whole new energy enter your life at that particular time. And when it goes direct, it probably will never go retrograde again. So I would like to say that that is true for anybody who has those inner planets retrograde. So if you have if you're born with Mercury in retrograde, well, you really need to go look at your progress chart and see when, by progression, Mercury goes direct. And also, if you've got Mars retrograde or Venus, the moon never goes retrograde and neither does the sun. And if you've got Jupiter retrograde, like I do, you will probably have your whole life, unless you're born on the very last day of the retrograde. But you probably most likely will have Jupiter in retrograde for your whole life. So it's just Mercury, Venus, and Mars. You should really look at your progressions or get a reading to see when, by progression, it goes direct, because that is a really big, important time in your life. I hope you guys love this video. I hope you guys are going to stay on this journey with me, become a super supporter, become a member, be a subscriber, come learn with me in Barcelona. And if not Barcelona, then Seattle, Washington. And I'm going to do more teaching. And I just absolutely love being here with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping me do this work for people all around the world. It is such my joy. From my house here in Seattle to wherever you live in the world, I wish you nothing but love. Take good care. Bye for now.